Hollywood used to call it career suicide. Agents warned them, studios pressured them, tabloids waited for them to fall. But these 10 stars did the unthinkable. They risked everything by coming out as gay. And somehow, their lives got bigger, brighter, and more powerful than ever. As you watch, tell us whose story hits you hardest. Drop their number in the comments, and if these journeys move you, don't forget to subscribe and keep Queer Courage in your feed. 1. Sir Ian McKellen, the knight who came out of the shadows. There was once a time when being gay and being a legend could not coexist on screen. Ian McKellen proved that lie wrong, not by whispering, but by stepping out of the dark in full armor. Before 1988, McKellen was already respected in elite theater circles. He had conquered Shakespeare, won a Tony, and was quietly building a portfolio of excellence. But his face wasn't on magazine covers, nor did he lead blockbusters. There was a ceiling, the lavender ceiling, and he was quietly pressing against it. Then came the fire. In 1988, as the UK government introduced Section 28, a law forbidding the promotion of homosexuality, McKellen didn't just object, he exploded. On live BBC radio, he came out publicly, not as a press stunt, not as a calculated move, but as an act of survival and defiance. It should have been the end of him. Studios whispered, critics hesitated, but the fans leaned in. And Hollywood finally woke up. What followed was nothing short of a renaissance. Magneto, Gandalf, two of the biggest franchises in cinematic history, anchored by an openly gay man who had been told he could never be a leading anything. He was knighted by the Queen. He co-founded Stonewall. He became the grandpa the LGBTQ+ world never had. But here's the truth he tells often. His acting only became great after he stopped pretending. I was no longer using my art to disguise myself, he said. I was using it to tell the truth. Let's talk about that. Would Gandalf have meant as much if he had been played by someone still hiding? Could Magneto's pain have felt that raw if the man behind him didn't know exile in his bones? Comment below. Was Ian McKellen great because he came out? Or did he become great because he came out? 2. Ellen DeGeneres, the martyr who turned pain into power. In 1997, Ellen DeGeneres said 3 words that shattered her life and changed the world. Yep, I'm gay. And Hollywood slammed the door. Before that moment, she was on fire. Her sitcom Ellen was climbing, her face was familiar in American homes, and she was being groomed to be the next great comic voice of daytime. But when both she and her on-screen character came out in the now iconic Puppy episode, advertisers pulled out. Viewers boycotted. Her show was canceled. The media mocked her. For 3 years, she barely worked. She lost roles, lost money, lost relevance. But worst of all, she says, she lost her sense of worth. She was the case study, the cautionary tale every closeted celebrity was warned about. Look what happened to Ellen. But she didn't disappear. She waited. She healed. And then she came back, not to survive, but to dominate. In 2003, the Ellen DeGeneres Show launched. It ran for 19 seasons, won over 30 Emmys, and made her one of the most powerful women in television. She hosted the Oscars, voiced Dory in Finding Nemo, danced with presidents, was awarded the Presidential Medal of Freedom by Barack Obama himself, tears in both their eyes. Ellen didn't just win, she rewrote the ending. Her journey is complex. In later years, workplace allegations tarnished some of her brand. But no one can erase what she did in 1997 or how it changed the course of queer representation in media forever. So tell us in the comments, was Ellen a victim of timing or a pioneer who walked so others could run? And if she hadn't taken that bullet, Would anyone else have dared? 3. Neil Patrick Harris, the man who played straight to tell the truth. Imagine this. You're a gay man in Hollywood. You know coming out could cost you your entire career. And yet, the role that makes you a household name is a womanizer. Neil Patrick Harris didn't just bend that paradox, he danced through it. After childhood fame as Doogie Howser, Neil faded into the background, until How I Met Your Mother gave him the role of a lifetime. Barney Stinson, the high-five-loving, suit-wearing, legendary ladies' man. It was the kind of part gay actors were told they could never pull off. But Neil crushed it, while living openly with his partner David Burtka and eventually raising 2 children. His 2006 coming out was handled with calm defiance. I am a very content gay man. That sentence changed everything. No press tour, no dramatic reveal. Just a quiet truth and a roaring response. Fans didn't abandon him. The industry didn't blacklist him. Instead, he became the go-to host for the Tonys, the Emmys, and even the Oscars. He won a Tony for Hedwig and The Angry Inch. A raw, gender-bending performance that made it clear this man had range. And maybe more importantly, he had nothing to hide. He broke every rule. A gay actor playing straight, then queer, then anything he wanted. Hosting kids' shows by day and starring in sex-positive musicals by night. All while holding hands with his husband in public. Neil didn't just normalize gay parenting, he normalized gay everything. Let's open this one up. Did Neil help dismantle the idea that being gay limits your range? Or did he just show that charisma speaks louder than closet doors? 4. Jim Parsons. The 1 million secret. Before the world fell in love with Sheldon Cooper's awkward genius and robotic charm, Jim Parsons was just another theater-trained actor waiting for someone to take a chance on his oddness. He was tall, Texan, soft-spoken, and often described as not quite leading man material, which in Hollywood was often code for too gay to risk. He spent years in the background, always professional, always brilliant, but never quite allowed to fully be. Then came The Big Bang Theory, and overnight, everything changed. Parsons became the unlikely face of the most successful sitcom of his generation. But even as his career soared and Emmy wins piled up, he remained in what some call the glass closet, not denying who he was, but never explicitly naming it either. In 2012, he changed that. In a quiet line buried in a New York Times profile, he confirmed he was gay and in a long-term relationship. There was no announcement, no press conference, no rainbow confetti, just truth unadorned. And strangely, or perhaps powerfully, nothing collapsed. If anything, things accelerated. Over the next few years, Jim became the highest-paid actor on television, earning a jaw-dropping $1 million per episode, not in spite of who he was, but possibly because of it. The authenticity unlocked something in his performances, a depth, a stillness, a knowingness that went beyond scripted comedy. He wasn't just Sheldon anymore. He was a producer, a voice for queer stories, an icon for those who wanted to see quiet courage win. His post-coming-out career didn't shrink, it expanded. He produced and starred in The Boys in the Band, Spoiler Alert, and The Normal Heart, projects that centered LGBTQ+ stories without apology. He wasn't screaming to be seen, he was simply living, visibly and unapologetically. It's easy to forget how radical that is, until you remember that not long ago, gay actors were told to lie for the sake of believability. So we ask you, would the world have loved Sheldon as much if they had known Jim was gay from season 1? Would the show have survived? Or would it have been quietly replaced with something safer? Was his quiet coming out brave? Or was it calculated? Let's talk about it in the comments. And if you believe that living your truth is the highest form of success, hit that subscribe button. Because here, we don't just celebrate fame, we honor the fight behind it. 5. Lil Nas X, the provocateur who kicked down the closet door. When Lil Nas X released Old Town Road, the world laughed, danced, and streamed it into history. He was a viral sensation, a country rap anomaly riding a horse into Billboard's longest-running #1 spot ever. But what most people didn't know, what most people didn't even think to question, was that the boy behind the beat was hiding something deeper than any lyric could hold. He was black, southern, masculine, raised in an environment where being gay wasn't just frowned upon, it was dangerous. And yet, in the middle of his meteoric rise, when he could have played it safe, he chose honesty. In June 2019, he tweeted the truth. Some of y'all already know, some of y'all don't care, some of y'all not gone FWM no more. But before this month ends, I want y'all to listen closely to C7 Osier. That tweet set fire to the internet. Some praised him, others mocked. Many warned he'd just thrown away his career. But Lil Nas X didn't flinch. He leaned in. With Montero, Call Me By Your Name, he created a queer visual language that was defiant, sensual, and wholly his. He pole danced into hell, kissed boys on national television, and turned the music industry's expectations on their head. For every conservative that clutched their pearls, there were millions of young queer fans who saw themselves for the first time, confident, powerful, unashamed. He didn't just come out. He made visibility into art, into activism, into business. He made queerness profitable in an industry that had long told gay black men to hide. And still, the debate rages on. Is he authentic or performative? Is he using his identity to sell records? Or is he just finally allowed to center it? That's where the conversation gets real, because maybe the problem isn't how loud Lil Nas X is. Maybe the problem is how long we expected people like him to whisper. So tell us in the comments, has Lil Nas X gone too far? Or has he just gone far enough to make the world catch up? And if you want to see more stories of queer brilliance that challenge the rules and rewrite the game, make sure to subscribe. Because in this space, we celebrate not just who artists are, but who they dared to become. 6. Ricky Martin, the idol who refused to be manufactured. Ricky Martin was the face of the late 90s pop explosion, a sex symbol with perfect hips, smoldering eyes, and a voice that brought Latin rhythms to global dance floors. Women screamed for him, tabloids chased him, and record executives shaped him into the ultimate fantasy. But behind the scenes, Ricky was trapped in the cruelest irony of stardom. He was adored for a version of himself that never truly existed. His heart, his love, his identity, all had to be edited out of the narrative. He was told that coming out would destroy everything, that his fans would turn on him, that he would go from pop god to punchline overnight. And for a long time, he believed them. He smiled on red carpets, dated women publicly, and swallowed the lie that success and truth couldn't coexist. But eventually, something changed. Fatherhood opened a door. The pressure became unbearable. And in 2010, in a deeply personal letter to his fans, Ricky wrote, "I am proud to say that I am a fortunate homosexual man. I am very blessed to be who I am." The confession was raw, beautiful, risky, and it could have gone either way. But the world surprisingly embraced him. Maybe not all at once. Maybe not everyone. But something had shifted. Since then, Ricky has built a second life, not as a boy band heartthrob, but as a man of depth. He starred on Broadway, received an Emmy nomination for The Assassination of Gianni Versace, published a best-selling memoir, and founded a charity fighting human trafficking. More than that, he became a father to 4 children and a husband, publicly and joyfully. But the question lingers, why did we make him hide? Why did we make one of the most visible men in music feel invisible in his own skin? And deeper still, would you have loved Ricky Martin the same if you had known the truth sooner? Or did the fantasy matter more than the man? We want to hear your thoughts. Comment below. Was his silent survival or a betrayal forced by an industry built on illusion? And if you believe that loving honestly is worth more than any platinum record, hit that subscribe button. Because the stories we tell here aren't just about fame, they're about freedom. 7. Dan Levy, the son who built a world without hate. Dan Levy didn't set out to make queer television history. He just wanted to tell a good story. But Schitt's Creek became more than a comedy. It became a revolution in how we portray LGBTQ+ love. In a world where queer characters are often punished or erased, Dan built a town where homophobia simply didn't exist. David and Patrick didn't just fall in love, they were allowed to stay in love, free from tragedy. Behind the camera, Dan was quietly rewriting his own narrative. As someone who came out later in life, he knew the silence, the fear, and the longing for safe spaces. With Schitt's Creek, he gave that safety to millions, especially queer youth and parents learning to understand them. The show swept the Emmys, and Dan became one of the few to win for acting, writing, producing, and directing in the same year. Still, some critics called his world unrealistic, too soft, too perfect. But maybe that was the point, to show what we could be if we stopped hurting each other. So tell us, do queer stories need pain to feel real? Or are we finally ready to celebrate joy? Comment your thoughts, and if you believe in the power of soft revolutions, hit that subscribe button. Here, we protect the stories that protect us. 8. Billy Porter, the man who wore a dress and won everything. Billy Porter waited decades for the world to see him. He had the talent, the voice, the fire, but for years he was told he was too flamboyant, too black, too much. He played roles that barely paid, watched others soar, and stayed loud in a world that wanted him quiet. But Kinky Boots changed everything. Billy won a Tony, and then Pose happened, and he didn't just act, he exorcised every gay black boy who'd been left out of history. Winning an Emmy wasn't just an award, it was a reckoning. And when he walked the Oscars carpet in a tuxedo gown, it wasn't a fashion moment, it was political theater. Billy became a one-man movement, bold, beautiful, and unapologetically true. But still, some question if he's too much, too loud, too visible. So what do you think? Has Billy Porter forced the industry to grow? Or just learned to take up the space he always deserved? Drop your thoughts below, and if you believe authenticity is armor, not a weakness, subscribe. Because this channel is where truth wears couture and wins anyway. 9. Sarah Paulson, the muse who refused to be muted. Sarah Paulson spent years just under the radar, brilliant but underused, known more to directors than to the world. Then she brought Marcia Clark back to life in The People vs. O.J. Simpson, and everything changed. Emmy, Golden Globe, A-lister. But what kept people talking wasn't just her work, it was her love life. Sarah didn't hide her relationship with actress Holland Taylor, who's over 30 years older. She never explained, never apologized. And that made people uncomfortable. Critics debated her choices. Fans questioned the image, but Sarah kept showing up, on screen, on carpets, with her truth in hand. She became the face of prestige television, the muse of Ryan Murphy, the rare actress who made queerness look like quiet power, not spectacle. So here's the question. Does she owe the public more answers, or has she already given us everything in her art? Leave your take below. And if you believe love doesn't need permission, hit that subscribe. This is where mystery, talent, and courage live side by side. 10. Jodie Foster, the silent storm that never asked for permission. Jodie Foster didn't shout her truth. She whispered it, between films, between the lines, behind a career that already had 2 Oscars. For years, her sexuality was Hollywood's open secret. And she let it be. Until 2013, when she stood on the Golden Globe stage, receiving a Lifetime Achievement Award and cracked open a window into the truth she'd always held close. Her speech wasn't clean or polished. It was messy, human, defiant. She didn't come out. She reminded us she'd already lived out. Since then, she's re-emerged not just as a legend, but as a woman at peace with herself, her wife, her silence, her strength. So ask yourself, did Jodie owe us anything? Or did we fail her by expecting so much for so long? Share your thoughts below. And if you believe there's power in quiet storms, hit that subscribe. This channel doesn't just chase fame, we tell the truths fame tried to bury. They were told to stay silent, stay marketable, stay in the dark. Instead, they chose truth. And in the end, they got the one thing Hollywood can't fake: a real life. If one of these stories made you tear up, rethink fame, or feel less alone, let us know in the comments and share this with someone who needs it. And if you believe living openly is the ultimate glow up, hit subscribe and stay with us for more silent fame.